All right, welcome back to Above Ground World News. It's Friday night. We made it to Friday. Sometimes I don't know how, but here we are. Check out these storms are popping up in the same locations just like every day. That's because the atmospheric river is stuck. So we know what it's going to take to move it out. But anyway, let's jump into these headlines, then we'll get into some other crazy stuff. Check this out. Just the other day, parts of the Great Lakes were going to get hit by 6-foot waves. Well, now they're going to get pounded by 13-foot waves. 7.5 million Americans in the Great Lakes are under threat of gale force winds and flooding. Well, we knew about this a couple weeks ago. So 40 mile an hour winds are predicted in some spots, so they're getting ready to flood the northeast out just like we said they would. It's happening right now. So they're looking at beach erosion and flooding and all that good stuff that all of us have already been dealing with for weeks on end. Now they've issued swimming warnings here in Missouri. All over the place. You don't want to get in the water, man. The water is completely toxic. They've been checking it for E. coli and other species of bacteria. So not to mention all the crappy stuff from the floods in this water. Don't get in the water. There's tons of articles coming out. Most of the beaches here in the Ozarks are all flooded anyway. So you can't even get to them. The beaches are underwater. Check out this crazy article coming out of our local Kansas City paper. California court rules prison pot is okay if inmates don't inhale. Are you kidding me? Isn't that like why they're in jail probably? So it just keeps getting weirder and weirder. So the third district court appealed ruled that California voters legalized recreational possession of less than 28 grams back in 2016 with no exception, even for those behind bars. So if you can sneak the weed in and you don't inhale, you're all good. Nuts, man. This just tells you right here what's up is down, what's right is wrong. Just crazy stuff, man. Coming out of China, their residential communities are using artificial rainfall to beat the heat. Let's play this. This kind of reminds me of that test they did in St. Louis where they were spraying the radiation off the corners of the buildings. So I don't know if these are hoses launched out. I don't know what the heck they're doing here. But pretty crazy. So all these buildings, these stack and pack housing additions are creating their own rain. Pretty weird, man. All right, let's get that out there before it starts freaking out. The world's largest king penguin colony has collapsed, losing 90% of its population. And of course they're going to show you the picture where there's no snow, So 90% of the population has been vanishing since the 1980s. Just another effect. Not one of these pictures are going to show snow for the penguins. This is programming to program your mind that the earth is in global warming when we know better. We had more lightning kill people. Kills 2 18-year-olds at Mammoth Park in Mount Pleasant. These guys were out fishing. I think it struck the tree next to them and got them. They're goners. So we've had tons this year. 3 were killed in May while camping in Texas. The one guy that got killed on the motorcycle blew his helmet apart. So, yeah, the lightning's getting very deadly here lately, which hopefully tomorrow I'm going to get into the steering the lightning. Trump orders simpler path for GMO food. So here we go. Another puppet in office. Gonna push the Frankenfood on us. You know, he took the silencers. He signed a bill to get rid of the silencers. You know why they did that? Because all the cities have these things set up all around the town where they can hear gunshots. Well, if you have a silencer, they're not going to be able to spot the gunfire. So they want to get rid of them so there's no hiding your weapons. All right, so here we go. This is 31 million acres of corn is still not planted. As of June 2nd, U.S. farmers still had 82 million acres of corn and soybeans to plant. That dwarfs the second place 54 million in 1995. So here's a chart that shows no plant continues, 31 million acres of corn left to plant. Farmers have planted 95 million acres of corn and soybeans combined, 82 million acres left not. So you could definitely expect the food prices to be astronomical next year. Maybe by the end of this year. Now we got birds that have been dropping like flies in New Brunswick. They're flying into windows, into cars, into fences, dying on lawns. Can we say a little electromagnetic energy going on over here? Some do survive. They kind of knocked out for a little bit, but some die. Some just don't make it. She said the birds look disoriented and can't fly well. The phenomenon prompted her to make a Facebook post, which a bunch of other people posted. They were seeing the same thing. So then you bring the expert in here, and he says the reason that they seem so disoriented, sluggish, unaerobatic, let's say it's likely because they have no energy. They're in some kind of starvation mode. He said the bird deaths could be a result of environmental or physical factors. Well, if he's an expert, how come he don't know? He's just making it up as he goes. The birds may have encountered bad weather during the migration, causing them to expand their energy reserves. The birds may also have reached their destination only to find a lack of food, which could be the result of cool temperatures. I thought it was global warming. So more, this is all the sonar, electromagnetics, and the Wi-Fi radiation. This is the 5G taking these things out. We're being clobbered by all the electromagnetics. All the bugs are dying from the chemtrails. And then we have this. Sea rescuers have been criminalized as German boat captain faces 20 years in prison for saving refugees. So you're supposed to, you know, if you find a boat full of people, I guess you're supposed to help them, but apparently it's against the law. You're supposed to just let them try to make it across, I guess. I don't know. I'll leave the link for that. Alright, so this is pretty crazy. The Weather Channel. The Birdman is back. They're calling these microwave clouds that we found the other night. In fact, I think they screen capped our video to get the picture. The stratocane off the Southern California coast grabs weather geeks' attentions. Let's play this here.
If you this on satellite off the coast of California, it probably can scare some people, right? You kind of think it looks like a hurricane. You see that little counterclockwise spinning thing there off the coast of San Diego, a little bit southeast.
The Birdman's back.
East of San Clemente Island. That is called a stratocane, also known as...
Wow, it's buffering.
The von Karman vortex. It's basically just a little eddy.
Which is it? It's a von Karman eddy stratocane.
Harmless. They don't do anything, but they do.
Man, this sucks. Why is it lagging so bad?
That is called a stratocane, also known as a von Karman vortex. It's basically just a little eddy. It's harmless. They don't do anything, but they do tend to form sometimes, at least most often.
Wow, we'll let that load for a second, because I definitely want to... We went over this during the live show when it happened. We didn't even talk about that. We were talking about the microwave clouds.
When you have some kind of island around that has elevation. So what will end up happening is, picture this. The air comes...
Yeah, I really want to hear him try to explain this. Look, there's a ship track right there. You have the microwave signature clouds right there. So hopefully this will load. We'll listen to the Birdman give us his sock puppet lie.
Comes around the island and it's forced to...
Let me back that up just a little bit.
The air comes around the island and it's forced to then come back toward the center, and then it starts to do the spinny thing. Does that make sense?
No.
Okay, so again, that's not a hurricane. You don't have to worry about it. And it's really cool satellite imagery. Once in a while, you can actually see these things from a plane.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. It's the Birdman. I'm surprised he didn't say there were birds in there. Mr. Ari Saralenry, or however you say your name, Salad Boy, Birdman. I had to go back and see when they invented the word stratocane, the Karman vortex. So he didn't even talk about the microwave clouds, but they call them gravity waves. Another BS term, another made-up term. Man, they're so full of crap. And if you zoom in on it, here we are looking at it. If you zoom in on it, you can see this looks like a elongated skull with the eye. Then right over here, you got the little demon over here with the horns, looking at each other. He's like holding the other demon, looking at that demon. But what you're really look at is all the aerosols that were deployed over here. You got the bunker fuel being deployed. You got the gravity waves, not the gravity waves, the microwaves. So let's go ahead and get it on up to today. It's pretty crazy, man. They got this cloud formation, this high pressure system just parked over here, right off the coast. Tons of ship tracks still being deployed right off of San Francisco. 2 Big X. And these are ships. These are not the planes. You got the aerosols being deployed everywhere. But you also have the ship tracks. Also spotted some down off of New Zealand tonight. So we got ship tracks down there. I think I had just a couple other articles to hit. The U.S. healthcare ranked worst in the developed world. Oh, this is an old ass article. How'd I get this one up? Never mind. Screw that one. All right. U.S. annually uses 388 million pounds of potentially fatal pesticides banned in the EU, China, and Brazil. You know, this is the Monsanto Bayer toxic stuff, but it goes right along with this article. The Monsanto glyphosate detected at an alarming rate in these cereals. Like all the cereals have this glyphosate in them. which is responsible for causing cancer. Now, Monsanto just paid $78.5 million in damages to one California man. I mean, there's been tons of people getting some money out of these guys. But right here, they've got all the 2019 batch here. Honey Nut Cheerios, 833 parts per billion. Nature Valley Crunchy Granola Bars, 566 parts per billion. Multi-grain Cheerios, 216 parts per billion. Now, all these products tested glyphosate at levels well above the EWG safety standards, which is 160 parts per billion. And even most of the non-GMO had it in there too. I mean, they were way lower. But but what happens is during the processing and the floods and stuff like that, the glyphosate gets into them anyway. So you can't trust anything anymore. You got to plant your own food if you're not flooded out. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at the worldview map. And we'll finish checking out the aerosols that are being deployed all across the world here. We got a spraying operation up in the Arctic. I mean, way up here. I mean, they're really laying it down. They're trying to split off some cold fronts to send it our way. That's why these, part of the reason these storms keep popping off. Tons of aerosols. Oregon looks pretty clear. I seen a fire up here a little bit ago. I think there was a fire up here as Washington. We got a fire going on in Arizona. Yeah, look at that one. That one's grew quite a bit. Can't tell if that's the smoke from the Arizona fire. Just kind of looking around here. We got heavy aerosols in the Gulf of Mexico, so they're setting up for the next system. Yeah, these are tons of aerosols. Looks like you got a lot of wind already stirring them around. Let's check the layer here. Try to get that to load. That layer kind of sucked. So yeah, big swaths. Heavy aerosols being deployed down here in the dead zone. Wow, look at the flooding going on this river. You could probably click back a year or two and see that these are way smaller rivers, but now they're huge. Got a small aerosols over Alabama, Mississippi, Tennessee, Missouri, Arkansas, Oklahoma, northern Kansas, Nebraska, North Dakota. Huge spraying operation up here in Manitoba. Yeah, you got big time spraying up here. And it goes all the way up, way up here. So we're going almost all the way up into the Arctic with the aerosols. Man, that's a huge spraying operation. All the way up into the Hudson Strait. So that's covered thousands and thousands of miles. Hey, thanks out there, Angie. Thanks out there, Bamboo and Lead. Thanks. Much love out there. And Troy. Man, you guys are on it tonight. So heavy aerosols all over the place. Keeping the systems going. Ontario, you're getting sprayed. Michigan, sprayed. Where all the wind and the waves are coming, heavy aerosols. See, they're setting and seeding the storm up for the East Coast. Indiana, complete whiteout. Illinois, same thing. Tennessee, Kentucky, Florida's getting hammered. They dropped the smoke curtain on Florida. Let me click these layers here to see what we get. Yeah, so Florida got completely whited out. Thanks out there, Rhonda. Look how clear Georgia. South Carolina, you're pretty damn clear. North Carolina, clear. Virginia, pretty clear. Ohio, you got some white puffy clouds. West Virginia. And they've, New York, I can't really see because they're already covered with the filth. All right, let's just take a quick look on over here. Looks like we have a new operation off the northern part of Morocco, getting ready to set up the next system for France. Thought I had this loaded or semi-loaded. Yeah, that's semi-loaded. I think they had a freak rainstorm over here. I'm trying to get it. Yeah, they got the white puffy clouds. They're in good shape. Here's that cyclone out here in the Arabian Sea. Man, that thing should already be hitting the land. So this thing did like a U-turn. We'll check the pass here in a minute. You got heavy aerosols down here in the outback. I mean, they got a huge spraying operation over South Wales. I mean, these are thousands of miles long. Click that layer. Yeah, mega long sprays out here. And then when we go down to New Zealand, we have ship tracks out here off the coast of New Zealand. You got some there, and you got some right here off the coast. Actually, quite a few down here. So right there off of Christchurch, north of it, you had the bunker fuel being deployed. You got aerosols between the two islands. I know I got a message from Captain Guam. He said an earthquake or something hit there in Guam. Now, I don't know if the earthquake stuff picked it up, but they said they definitely felt it. All right, that's probably good enough on that. Let's go ahead and check out these storms. It's just like every night, man, they're popping off in the exact same place from Mexico all the way up into Canada. Here's where their heavy cloud seeding operations are. That's why the thing, look, it's not all red, and that's just heavy rain. Cloud seeding going on all over the south. Let's go ahead and put this on. That, we'll put that on there, and let me move it to the west. So right now we just have thunderstorm, no tornado stuff right now. And I want to put this over on the west while we're waiting. All right, let's check the radars. We've been catching a lot of crazy stuff on these things. I haven't looked at them yet, so we'll look at them together. Had the crazy stuff on here last night. I'm sure they watch these videos, so they probably are trying to keep it turned down a little bit today. Look at the radars just completely blacking out. So we have radars turning off and on all over the place. So really it doesn't look too bad. When you look at that map, it looked like just mega storms, but they're really not as bad as, well, they're kind of firing up a little bit heavier, but not bad. We had a microwave pulse right there over Kentucky. Watch this loop here. we get a real big pulse in this area. I just caught it. So there's the first one. Yeah, so the radar was off. Wow, they did some kind of freaky stuff there. We're going to have to zoom in on that sucker. So yeah, definitely something freaky going on there. Let's got something there in North Carolina too. But yeah, that was a weird. Let me pause that and take a look at that in slow motion. So look at this distortion. I don't know if you guys can see that, but everything is all, wow, look at that, like explosion out of them two radars. You got this one and them damn sure aren't birds. So that is pretty crazy. I don't think I've ever seen it to that extent before. So that's some freaky stuff right there. Wow, let's zoom in on that thing. So that one was right there in Kentucky, I think, or is that right there at the border of Kentucky, Iowa. So it should be this one. Yeah, that was pretty freaky. The map definitely looked weird. That's why we document this stuff, man. Then if some kind of weather freak thing happens, we know they did it. I gotta fix this little table. I got my stuff on it, keeps squeaking on us. Tree frogs are going nuts outside. All right. Wow, look at that explosion of the radar. So the rain's coming in this later in the time frame. So when it starts right at the beginning, we get that super pulse. So there you go. That's not birds flying out of the city. Let's check that out on the base reflectivity. So here it is again. Wham, just a complete circle. That's pretty crazy. Now that was multiple radars that did that. The other one I think was down here. And wow, there's actually 2 to 3 of them with the exact same signatures. That's like, I've never seen that before. This one right here, right on the border of Alabama and Mississippi, and then one down here right at the border of Texas. It's like no limit of anomalies because there's no limit of weather warfare. It's all going on everywhere. So yeah, that's definitely a pulse. I already see the microwave rings. And when I get to the right layer here, we'll be able to see the microwaves. So the purple is the microwave pulse. Hey, thanks there, Ken Ray. Much love out there. Yeah, see, purple's not even on this chart, and that's usually what we find is like the pulse particles, probably like plasma, microwaves, radio frequencies. Yeah, so they definitely pulse that thing out. So it went from a low buzz to wham, just a quick little burst. Multiple radars. Yeah, and then they're just pulsing it. They're steering the storm. That's what they're doing. They're steering it. But yeah, that looks like they got the measles on the map. I don't think I've ever seen the map look like farms, wind farms. You know, we haven't seen our water generation station. Oh, they're actually going today. Let's go ahead and check them. So we have the fabricated water vapor generators pumping the moisture up in with the atmospheric river. Let's see what it looks like on the wind flows here. Yeah, so that thing was really pumping up there in the yellow. Let me put this on the base reflectivity just so we can see the moisture being pumped up from the ground. And while that's loading, let me go ahead and get the this going in the earth null. See, that's why I thought the cyclone already hit. There's no cyclone information right now. It's already hit. So the worldview map is a little behind there. Here they are dropping stuff in out there. So they got a few missions going on. So they're dropping some drop zones down in the storm. This is their flight paths. So we'll be looking for that area to develop some kind of system. We'll be watching that. All right, let's just take this up just a few hours here, just kind of see where everything is going. So we got some really heavy rainfall on a Sunday over Chicago, Ohio, Illinois, or all them areas right there. So that's going to be a pretty good rain event. Severe weather for Monday. Couple different spots. Man, that thing's just gonna hang out right there for hours and hours. More flooding for Oklahoma, Texas, Arkansas, Missouri. Everybody, they're just gonna keep on flooding us out. Let's take a look at these amounts, because that looked like a lot of rain. So right now let's take this up a little bit at a time. So right now the Missouri River is the target right up the I-44 corridor. I mean, that's exactly in line with the highway. Missouri River is the target. Look, and they're going to flood it out all the way up from Canada all the way down. You know, it's pretty crazy. To me, it almost seems like a test. I know there's been catastrophic flooding going on everywhere. But it's like they're flooding all the lakes and all the rivers out just to the tippy top. Then they drain it a little bit, and then they flood it out a little more. It's like they're doing test runs. So yeah, Oklahoma definitely going to get some major flooding. A little flooding down there in Florida, down there in the Keys. We'll dig into that a little later in the week, the weekend. All right, where'd my deal go here? Wow, that never did change. What the heck? Trying to pick up on the bunker fuel operations. All right, I think we're done with the radars for a while. We got all that pretty well documented. Here comes our water generating. Here's the other one right over here. And there's the second one in a V shape. So they're seeding this little storm system coming up with ground-based, tons of ground-based moisture. Look at that thing shoot up. What was that? So watch right here, just south of the next right here. Man, I cannot get rid of. Yeah, the water's so stagnant looking, mold on everything. Yeah, it's going to be pretty bad. Yeah, it's pretty crazy, man. It's like they fill everything to the max, and then they stop for a few days, open the dams up for a little bit, then they're going to flood it again. It's like they're testing just how much they can put in there. Yeah, definitely getting a bunch of microwave pulsing off this, along with the water generating stations. Let me check this right here. Yeah, I do the apple cider vinegar and the lemon juice. In fact, I'm out of lemon juice. I need to get some more. Yeah, there's so much flooding still going on. It's ridiculous. It's a weather war, and we're in a war that we can't really fight back, other than information and trying to get people aware that it's going on. Gotta have the numbers. Yeah, so that's not really showing us anything. I was trying to see if it created any kind of a vortex here. Yeah, I didn't get into the false flag stuff going on. I know that's all propaganda, all the war news propaganda. Yeah, exactly there, Ryan. Yeah, see all the microwaves coming off that. That's ridiculous. This is probably knocking birds out of the sky right there. Okay. And here's our ship tracks, man. They're really close to the coast right now. See if I can speed that up a little bit. Got all the aerosols being deployed. Yeah, look at the ships right here. Oh, you got a secondary ship operation up in the north. So we have a huge bunker fuel operation up in northern California, southern Oregon, right where they steer the atmospheric river into. And you got another one down here in the south. Big area they're covering off the Bajas. It looks like they're splitting little chunks of this high pressure off. So a huge bunker fuel operation. All right, let's jump over here. Let's check the polar vortex winds. See what's going on with these. What's going on right here? So we can see, man, there's some mega winds with that. That's super high. I don't think I've ever seen them like that high. That's crazy. So we're looking at, if I get it on, we're looking at 278 mile an hour winds. That's pretty freaking high. 281. $280. So that's that is cruising right there. That's why Australia is probably getting some really cold crap coming in. You know, you got fires in the north. Well, there's where the other shipping operation is, right around that pressure. Let's go ahead and check the jet stream. Wow, what's wrong with the jet stream? It's not even going over the United States. So, okay, so the shipping operations are right there and right there. And you got a mass split in the jet stream. And then there is no jet stream. Over the United States, it's all freaked out. No troughs, no ridges. I mean, these ain't nothing there. You check the vortice layer, the scalar level. Man, that's some weird looking stuff tonight. Oh, I know what I forgot to check was the temperatures. Little heating event going on right over the Arctic. Kind of weird. You have a it's kind of cut out right there, right where we know David Miles' research is, right where the ship tracks are. Just all dots to connect. And here's our atmospheric river. They're going to pull this sucker right down into Washington, Oregon area, pulling it up through the Gulf of Mexico all the way up into Canada. Here's our moisture from the cyclone. See, they're pulling that moisture up right where the Japan ionospheric heater is. So that thing's being pulled all the way backwards and then up into Japan. That's pretty crazy. A lot of big waves going on down there. Let's see what kind of waves we have. 35-foot waves. We are on now, aren't we? Let's see if they're doing any kind of heating to the ocean. It actually, the ocean looks like it's cooling. Like the big area of heat is like gone. But there is something new right here. What is this thing? We got a hot spot right there around the equator. Wonder if that's where they sent the transponders out. Pretty hot water right there off of Florida. No El Nino at all. It didn't happen. Yeah, look at that hot spot there. Look where all the heat is. It's all from Fukushima, and I mean, we have huge heat anomalies up here in the Bering Strait and all out here off the coast. Just crazy heat anomalies. And all this is cooling down. This is usually, you know, yellow all the way up during the currents. Now what I noticed is the currents have shifted out off the coast farther. So that current's running at 3.2 miles an hour. That's pretty fast. There's our anomaly. It's like a vortex in the ocean out here. All right. Whoops. Let's get that off there. So it looks like the air quality has cleaned up just a little bit. But I mean, we're all in a pretty much a filth of carbon monoxide concentration. Really bad up in the Northeast where the fires are. Southern California, all the fires down here in Mexico. over here in China where they're making it rain off the buildings. Hey, thanks, sir. P-back. Yeah, that'd be excellent if we could wake up that many people. That's how many we need. We need more than that, bro. We need a worldwide something going on. So no carbon dioxide. I mean, it's a little light right there, but it's definitely cleaned up. So the highest spot on the planet today is in Russia. Probably got some fires right there. Yeah, big time fires in Russia. This thing's kind of running a little jerky here. All right. Wow, it looks like we got some stuff spewing out of the Hawaiian Islands. These ship tracks actually look darker now. These are the shipping lanes. That's like the cargo ships dropping their bunker fuel, creating the storms to be more electrified. Ooh, we got some something funky down here. Wonder if that's from the fires in Arizona. Let me see where the winds are going. Well, I can't. I can't put the winds on. Nope, the winds are going the opposite way. So I don't know what that big anomaly is there in the Bajas. You can see all these fires. Maybe a fire. Fires up here. Looks like we got fires up in Alaska. So pretty nasty map here. All right, that's all good. All right, so we're looking at look at the aerosols being deployed right where the storms have been firing up. So just before where the storms pop off. Mass spraying operation, big time spraying operation. Washington, Oregon, starting there in California, starting at night, and then all ahead of this. This one's a pretty big spraying operation. And then we're watching the trails get, right when the trails get to the mountain range, it fires off these storms. Same thing with California, little spraying operation. As soon as it hits the mountains, boom. Let's kind of zoom in on that a little better. I don't know if that'll get it or not. Get spraying. So as soon as these aerosols get to the mountains, look at these storms popping off. That's right where the most intense storms are. Look at that thing just explode up. So right there, they're seeding the storms. I mean, that's blatant. That's evidence right there. Look at the height of these things. So it's pretty strong storms. Really need to be just a little bigger so we can get the full scope. Yeah, that's undeniable right there, man. Completely seeding ahead of the storm. As soon as it hits the cold air off the mountains, wham, you get a big time storms popping off. And the most severe storm is exactly where the trails are hitting it. They're dumping all the heavy metals in this storm, getting it more electrified, more powerful. And that's why these storms are getting stronger in the night. They can blame it on the heating of the day. Wow, look at this one here, is just way up there. And that's right where we caught that anomaly the other day. That storm top is high. So another super powerful little bitty rain bomb there in Texas. Yeah, you see all these have super high tops. And let's go up and look. Let's look up here in Canada for a second. Wow, there's like a area right here that's been scrubbed or something. Right there. Yeah, so you're getting aerosols all up in Canada. It's like everywhere. Let's check off the west coast here. Can already see them. Wow, look at that. Super sprayers. C-130s out here. Turning them off and on. Big old thick nasty trails. Here's some more trails. Like a Nazi symbol right there in the sky. Wow, they really targeted this area. And then look, you're getting the chem fog. They made that stuff. Also got aerosols coming down through Washington into Oregon. Big time spraying through Idaho. Weather manipulation everywhere. And we know there's a shipping operation just a little bit farther to the west. Man, just crazy spraying. You know, these are definitely targeted sprays. They're trying to break off. It's like they're fabricating the little low pressure systems. So that's all completely fabricated. I'm still not far enough to the west to pick up the ships. I can't get there from here. I gotta go to the Continental. We'll try that. Man, that's some tons of aerosols being deployed out there. Look way down here. There's a big spraying operation all down through off the coast of Baja. The other place the boats are. So you got boats down here by the Bajas, and then aerosols. Then you got boats up here, and you got aerosols. So they're hitting it from the land and the sea. Want to put this on the microphysics to see the boats. Yeah, so here's the one off the Bajas, the ship tracks, and then here's the other one. And you can see the aerosols being deployed in that too. Yeah, so it's the Navy and the Air Force both. It's the UN. It's the fallen ones. It's the dark side. It's the deep state. It's the New World Order. Yeah, there's a lot of boats out here. A lot of boats, a lot of planes. All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and call this a Friday night show. We'll try to be on here tomorrow night. We'll probably take some calls tomorrow night. I'll try to get the laptop set up so you guys don't have to hear the ring and all that stuff. Yeah, stream's running pretty good, running a little bit later. So maybe we'll run, if I can stay up, we'll run a little bit later tomorrow night. But much love out there. Thanks everybody who helps us out and all that stuff. It's much appreciated, and it definitely helps. Anyway, guys, much love. We're gonna have to rise soon. We're running out of time. So let's kick it here. Let's hit the end screen. I'll jump over on D Live and give away the treasure chest. And we'll see you tomorrow. God bless everybody. Much love. Here we go. Let's rise.